My name is Stephen Bottke, and this is my Bulldog story. I'm the oldest of 8 siblings. We moved all over the state when I was young. We had no home for longer than a year or two. And we settled in Cadillac, Michigan, about 40 minutes north of Ferris, when I was about 11. We were homeschooled. You wind up learning in a small house with way too many people in it, how to deal with people who are different than you. A lot of old philosophers, they say that cities and mainstream schools are where people go to learn how not to socialize because they form cliques. And in a large homeschooled family, you don't get to do that. You're stuck with the same group of people who are fundamentally different from you on a psychological level, and you have to learn to deal with them. I was interested in history coming into college because the only way that I can see to truly make sense of all that's going on around us in this day and age is to find the stories behind every discrete movement and innovation and faction that's moving about in the world and trying to decide how the next period of human history goes. And if you can tell something's story, you have a pretty good idea of where it came from, and you have a pretty good idea of where it's likely to go if you have enough other stories to compare it to. A friend of mine and I were having a debate in the lobby, and when I told him that I was interested in learning about digital technology, he pointed me to the student organization MEGA, which stands for Makers of Engaging Games and Animation, and said that I should get involved with them and see if I can learn anything from them. And they actually told me that I seemed to have a knack for modeling. It only made sense if I'm going to be playing with computers my whole life to get an associate's degree in something that was related to them, so digital media. I'm hyper-aggressive, just by nature. When I was a little kid, that was the thing that I had to work on the most to learn how to be a civilized human being, was my temper. And to not play too rough with my siblings so that they would continue to play at all. My parents decided that it would probably be a good idea to give me something useful to do with it rather than just send me out to work on projects of my own or go out and just do work. So I started looking around for martial arts clubs because my siblings didn't want to wrestle anymore. We were getting older at that point. My dad found for me a mixed martial arts gym in town. They offered 1 free day to newbies, and I got my ass handed to me on that free day, and I was hooked. So I got to college, and one of the first things I did as far as trying to establish a social life for myself was look for a martial arts club of some kind. I went and looked in at the MMA club, and it had been discontinued. Figured I'd see if there was anyone else on campus who wanted someone to fight. So I started the MMA club, and I've been running that for close to a full school year now. I've learned a lot about leadership doing that, and I've learned a lot about networking. I've had to come out of my shell a lot in the past year and a half or so. I was a very quiet student when I got here. I've always been introverted by nature. So in learning to build that club, I've had to learn a lot about small talk and learn about just walking up and introducing myself to strangers. So that's been a big plus for me as far as social skills. Ferris is my alma mater. It's the mother of my mind. I've learned more, I've met more friends, I've found mentors that I mean to keep for life, and I've broadened my horizons in directions that I never would have imagined